I used to sit in meditation for 9 hours. Waste of time.
Wait a minute. You don't seriously mean that, do you?
I do.
Does this mean Father Charles doesn't meditate at all?
If you meditate to enjoy yourself. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Don't meditate to get realized. Otherwise, you are putting yourself out of yourself, and it's difficult. So meditate to enjoy yourself. Whatever you do, do it for joy of the self. That's an easy way. And you are children of God. God does not want to make spirituality a hard process. But you are realized already. You are God already. You are that which you are looking for. And once you live in that awareness, that's all that is required. Initially, it's hard for you to enter into that awareness. But gradually, it will become difficult for you to get out of that awareness. So I asked one of the students before giving darshan, who are you? And mind, yeah? Swami, I'm God. So I said, Acha. Now devotees are waiting. Go give darshan. Swami meant what he said. Go give darshan. But the child does not believe that truly he is God. We don't believe it. We don't believe ourselves. Because if you believe it, Jesus said, if you have faith like a tiny, tiny, tiny seed, you will tell this mountain, move, and it will move. And Jesus said, you are God. He didn't say you are going to become God. He said, what I do, you do it. You are going to do it. You will do it even more than I have done it. Because we are one. But everyone tells you are no good. You are a sinner. You are this, you are that. And you have grown up to believe that. You have grown up to believe what you are not. Forget about what you are not. It's not important. That's what I'm saying. Focus on what you are. That's the reality. That's the truth. That's the truth. You are God.
When he visits Sai Baba's Indian ashram at Prasanthi Nilayam, he is thought of by many as a Sai mystic. Father Charles Ogada, a Catholic priest from Nigeria, has an expansive grasp of advaita, living in non-duality, knowing as well as living from the true self, the higher self. Welcome to Souljourns, and this most important and timely wider explanation of Sai Baba's mission, as well as the mission of Jesus. This interview was recorded at Prasanthi Nilayam, India, in January 2013.
Father Charles Ogada, welcome to Souljourns once again. It's been way too long. We really enjoy having you in our presence. There's several of us in this tiny little room, and I'm reminded of what a Swami once said to Jody and me when we went to visit him in Germany for an interview, and he began by saying, "Talk to me." And I start the same with you. Talk to me.
You talk to me.
Why do we all feel so much pain in this world, especially those people on a spiritual path?
I was having lunch with a devotee, and we had quite really tear-filling, heart-to-heart conversation. And finally asked me a question. He said, Father Charles, do you know anyone who has experienced this enlightenment, self-knowledge, joy, uninterrupted ananda? And he said, apart from me. And I said, yes. And there was light in his eyes. And I held his hand. Come on, hold my hand. And I said, he is looking at me right now.
So that would make me laugh.
He started, no, he didn't make him laugh. He started crying. Because we are pure ananda. We are pure joy. Pain can never touch us. Sorrow can never really touch us.
Then what is it that does touch us? It sure looks like pain and feels like pain.
Nothing.
How many people can you convince that it's nothing?
You. See how you're smiling. Live in that awareness right now.
Then what is it that I feel?
Joy.
All the time?
Why worry all the time? Now.
If joy is all white, why does darkness come into our lives?
Where is the darkness?
In our feelings.
In your feelings. Do you feel darkness now?
No.
So where is it?
Well, yesterday, tomorrow.
Gone. Illusion. So as long as we live in the awareness of our being right now, there is no pain. There is no darkness. What you call darkness, seated when you say me, when you say I, and you point to the heart, that heart is the heart of everything. And that heart is love. And that heart can never experience any pain. Ted, who are you?
Many years ago, there was a Catholic priest sitting across from me who told me there are 3 Teds. The one Jody knows, the one I know, and the real Ted.
Have you ever forgotten the tree?
Yes,
When?
every day.
And what do you feel when you forget the tree?
Other feelings, other thoughts come.
No, then you've not forgotten. The greatest expression of you is joy.
But when there's a traffic accident and you're in the accident, there's no joy.
Someone told me a story. He had an accident and they rushed him to the hospital. And suddenly he died. And he saw himself out of the body and so much joy. But he saw his wife crying, his children, And the people around in pain. He said, why are they in pain? And suddenly a voice said, in this time, you must go back. He said, no, I don't want to go back to that. So who is suffering? The real you, when you realize that, is totally unaffected. Completely. You know, we take this so seriously because we don't take it into perspective. All that is happening right now, many people dying, so many calamities, we take it so seriously, but actually, in truth, nothing has happened. Because you can never be affected.
And the person who is just injured, they can never be affected?
Who is the person? It's you too.
It's you too. But you're asking us to make an enormous leap to go from what Baba calls the dream, the Maya, to our true self. Some people can do that with great ease. For many of us, it's just an idea. It's an image that seems sometimes almost impossible to relate to, that the real me cannot be injured or hurt. So how do we make that leap that you're talking about?
There's an easy way, the path of the heart. The path of love.
Is that thinking love, doing love, or being love?
Swami was asked by some devotees in an interview. They were telling him of their experiences working with a group of people, another culture. And they were telling Swami that, Swami, it's so hard, so difficult to understand these people. So hard, so frustrating. Swami said, yes, I know, so hard, so difficult, but it's very easy to love them.
And will love help them?
Love is everything, Ted.
So if I see a little baby crying, a little boy at your school, at your house, who's 6, who misses his mommy, who remembers his daddy being sick and dying, and he's crying, by sending him love, is that sufficient?
Love will make you know that you are the father of the child, you are the mother of the child, you are the child. And once you know that, every other thing follows. But once you see the child apart from you, then you are seeing the child as another person's child, and as different from you. Love is the experience of oneness. And remember what I told you, that when you feel your heart, then you know that your heart is the heart of everything. Your heart is the heart of God. There is no difference. That's why Jesus said the kingdom of God is within you.
You came over this morning, several hours ago, and we had our little daily satsang with Jody and you and me, and you said that the questions that would be the good questions, they could be any questions, as long as they come from the heart. And I'm asking people to think if they have any questions, and they'll raise their hand when they have one, and we'll go to them. And it seems like you're saying, no matter what the content of the question is, it's made perfect if you feel it coming from your heart. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, we've got a question. We've got a question from VJ, and I want to know what that question is, so he'll just speak up.
Well, how do we live in love?
How do we live in love? Is that what you wanted to know?
Yes.
Did you say love?
Love.
How do we live in love? How do you find your eyes? How do you find your eyes?
Is that a trick question?
Thank you. How do you find your... I want you to look for your eyes right now. Look for your eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that is what you are, love. You are love. You are pure love. And to know that and to accept that, you must believe that. Jesus said, love your neighbor as you love yourself. It must begin from yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, you can never love your neighbor. If you don't accept yourself, you can never accept your neighbor. And if you judge yourself, condemn yourself, then you condemn other people. It starts from the self. And what is the self? Pure love. How do you love? How do you live in love? Be yourself. Be happy. Passionately happy. Intoxicatedly happy. Be drunk by yourself.
Be drunk by yourself.
And then it will flow. It will flow. You wake up, you are, oh my God, thrilled by your own creation. The sun is new. You know, you feel the pinch in your veins. And then you go out, even your presence sends waves of vibration of love energy to everything. They feel it because it's an energy. Happiness is not like when you say, ha 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 ha. No, happiness is a wave of energy emanating from yourself and touching everything, even without saying anything. Huh?
Yanni's got a question that we want to find out what's on his mind right now.
Father, you just said a few minutes back that love is experience of oneness. And I do believe that. I also understand that everybody's experience of this oneness varies from each other because it is very much self-dependent on what that individual is made of. So my question is, I like to hear your experience of oneness that you had.
Well, my greatest experience of oneness was when I was a little kid. A boy of 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5, till I was about 11 and a half, 12. And I would sit alone in the forest, just in total presence, total bliss, one with everything. I never knew what that meant, but I knew a presence that was stronger than my life itself. Swami once said in a discourse that I had known him right from my early childhood. And when he said that, I knew that he was saying the truth. When I was 17, at age 12, he left me, and then I went to high school studying to become a medical doctor. And then when I was 17, it came back. That was quite strong, stronger than anything. I was in the forest, sitting, lost in this unknown presence. And suddenly my body began to disappear. Not disappear, you know. I had this expansion of the heart, and I was merging with everything. Everything. And everything is sound. And there was a voice. Then I called it the voice of the Father. He said to me, because I'm talking to you, I have to say me. it said to me, as if to say it is different from me, but actually there was no dimension. What would you want to do with this life? And said, what else to do but to serve you? And suddenly, everything changed. I was meant to study medicine, and everything changed. I was asking myself, how do I really give this life to God, serve? Are you seeing me? And that was how finally I decided, because I came from a Catholic tradition, I was thinking if I become a Catholic priest, then that will give me the opportunity to really serve without thinking of family, property, and so on. So that was how I joined the Catholic priesthood. And it was a long distance. Then Swami came in my dream. I'm telling you how moments, strong moments when I experienced oneness, yeah? He came in my dream and he waved his hand like that. Vortex of energy. And that energy just sucked me in, and he hugged me. And I disappeared. How many times have I disappeared? How many times? Twice, yeah? That's when I asked you, have you ever forgotten yourself before? I disappeared. The I disappeared. And I knew. See, language is such a terrible thing. Yeah. The I disappeared, and I. How to say it, yeah? He was the same voice that said to me when I was 17, what would you want to do with this life? That sound of creation. And I experienced the same thing I experienced when I was 17. That's why I never had any doubt about the reality of Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. It's a personal, heart-to-heart experience. Heart is a higher knowledge. It's not an intellectual knowledge, a process whereby you go through and then come to a conclusion. No, it's a knowledge, intuitive knowledge. So, and then on Christmas Day 2006, he hugged me for so long, and I disappeared.
And this is when he was physically embracing you when you were in his presence in Puttaparthi.
Yeah, and the hug is one of the greatest expression of oneness. It has a divine significance. Like when Amma hugs, he's telling you, I'm one with you. There's no difference. When the mother hugs the child, so hug everything. But there's a way of hugging which is very, very easy. Not with the hand. How many things can you hold with the hand? Hug with the heart. Because your heart is the heart of everything. Your heart is the heart of the atom. Your heart is the heart of the whole universe and beyond. Your heart is the heart that created everything. Your heart is silence, indescribable, unfathomable. Be happy.
Sometimes people think they're happy when they follow the rules. My father was born and raised a good Catholic, but he died in great pain because he thought his son had fallen off the Catholic Church program and would forever reside in hell for eternity. And so that caused him great pain. What can we say to people to open up their eyes just a little wider to see that Jesus is Buddha, Baba, Allah, Mary?
Not just Jesus, you. When you find yourself, you find Jesus. When you find yourself, you find everything. And as long as you are looking for yourself, you've come to put a party to look for yourself, for God. Huh? You go to Jerusalem, you go to the church to look for God. It's crazy. You are looking for your eyes. Dead. I'm looking for my eyes. Where is my eyes? And suddenly you look in the mirror. Oh, that's my eyes. That's God. But it's your reflection. It's your reflection. You are pure Ananda. When you see someone who has really realized the self, he becomes your mirror. And then you are seeing yourself in the person because that's what you want to be. Joy, Ananda, peace, love. So your father, not to worry about your father. It doesn't matter. You know, it's such a joy also that none will be damned.
Who taught him that?
It's such a joy, you know. It's, oh, you made it. It's such a joy, you know. We all arrive at the same goal, but maybe different times, different experiences. It's not important. There's nothing that is important. Don't take it serious. It's your creation. The child builds the house on the sand and it destroys it. It builds it again, it destroys it. You are the creator, you are the decreator. It doesn't matter, you are the one that is uncreated. You are love. You are pure love.
In this world, though, we have to live with others mostly, although there are some
Who are the
people
others?
in Maya that most of us still see, mostly, regrettably. We find ourselves learning to carve our way out of Maya by learning to love others around us and to live with others. And I wonder sometimes, this thought just came to me since we started talking, it's sometimes very difficult to live with others. People have strong views, opinions, and they clash. The point that came to me was, what if some of us were destined to live on an isolated island where we were the only person there with food and water? My guess is we might still have the same problems. If we have a problem relating to somebody in a community, doesn't that mean we might also have the same problem relating to ourselves if we were living on an island alone?
Do you hate yourself?
No. Do I hate myself or hit myself?
Love is the answer. It's the only answer. You know, you can get a monk who lives in the monastery. You know, in the olden days, they used to lie on bed of nails, just to punish the body, to mortify the body. Fast. Pray. But there's an easy way.
It's got 4 letters, I'll bet.
Love. Love tames the mind. You know, sometimes you are fighting with yourself. You're doing violence to yourself. You want to kill the ego. I want to kill this my ego. You can never kill it. Just know that the ego does not exist.
You keep telling us everything that does not exist outside of ourselves. Does this mean we should not bother to try to help somebody else?
Somebody else? Who is somebody else?
The beggar on the street?
It's you.
The man who just got divorced?
It's you.
The student who just flunked out of college?
It's you.
And the person who was killed in a car accident?
You are everything.
And the liar and the cheater?
Ted, why are you taking us to this? What you focus your attention grows. Focus your attention on God. You are looking at me now, isn't it? Do you see what is at your back?
No.
What you focus your attention grows. You are God.
What makes you laugh at that?
Because it makes me laugh. It's such a beauty, such a beauty. Such a beauty to know that you don't need to sit in meditation in order to realize yourself.
Many people think it's essential.
It's essential as long as it brings you to the knowledge that it is not needed. Because you are that already. The power of this is is what makes me laugh. You are that now. Jesus said you are God. He didn't say you will become God. After some prayers or whatever. You are that already. To believe that and to live in that awareness, it will grow. Because it's your true nature.
Gyani Ji has a question.
Thank you, Ted. Father, a saint who passed away in the 1980s said,
Is what?
a saint who passed away in 1980s, he made one statement which always I remember, never forgot. He said, mind can never know the present. Now, you've been speaking, telling us about being in the present, being in awareness, that we really are. Does that mean that living in the awareness is living with our mind totally under control, thinks only when we want it to think? Other than that, we're not really thinking?
It's very hard to control the mind. Very hard. How can you hold the air? Very hard. And especially in our age, very, very hard. And of course, you're right. The mind cannot live in the present. The mind is responsible for karma. And as long as you live in the mind, you cannot escape the clutches of karma. Action and reaction. But there is an easy way. That makes, Isaac Tagra said, Swami said, unless you bring mind to its knees, it can never surrender. And there is a way to bring the mind to its knees. Love. Don't live here. Live here. Bring your full focus and attention to the heart. The heart is not the physical heart. It's not. The heart is where you automatically rest when you say me or I. Even the child says, oh, you mean me? Where he points is a little, some inches to the right. The Bible says, Ecclesiastes, I can't remember the exact quote, exact verse. It says, the foolish thinks the heart is on the left, but the wise knows it is on the right. They're talking about the spiritual heart. When you say me, when you feel deep oneness with yourself, it congeals here. That's why you say love. And that's why even science is now proving that the magnetic field, electromagnetic field of the heart, the physical heart they mean, is 5,000 times greater than the electromagnetic field of the brain. And it can be measured meters away from the body. Now why? Because that physical heart is so near to your real heart. That's why we use it as symbol of your real self. Now when you bring your attention to you, the heart, that's stillness. The mind automatically drops. And in that stillness, you will experience a joy, a magnetic joy that wells from your inner being. And you will laugh at yourself. Oh, where is the problem? Oh, why am I disturbing? Oh, it's gone. It's like putting on the light, and then where is the darkness? It's gone. So, the part of the heart is the easiest, sweetest, simplest, and indeed the only part. Why? Because even when the monk puts himself on a bed of nails and flagellates himself and does all those rigorous mortifications and prayers, and it lacks love, all those words. And it might take him years and years even to experience that love. But it doesn't need to, you don't need to go through those processes. Just be yourself. Just be happy. Accept yourself. Love yourself. Because you can only love others. You can only make others happy if you are happy. Otherwise, you try to please others. Very bad. When you try to please your husband, you are pleasing him. You are pleasing him. Doing everything to please this man. And one day say, look at all I have done for you. All I have suffered for you. You are going through pain. Why? Because you are piling expectations on him. But if you are happy, you are doing it for yourself. You are cooking the food, you are happy, you cook the food, it's so sweet. Your husband will eat it, it's so sweet.
Whether he likes it or not, right?
So you don't have an account of what you have done because you're doing it yourself. There is only one, yourself. Wherever there is two, there is what do you call it? An sight problem. You're seeing double where there's one.
Double vision.
Double vision.
Father, we've seen what makes you laugh so easily and so frequently. What makes you cry?
The same thing.
Tell us more.
Yeah, I told you just recently, just before I came, that we were crying, with the devotee, the heart just connected, He is looking for a realized person, but he is one. For him to know that this joy is him, because I see it in his eyes. And then we started to cry. Same thing.
Repeat that story because it was so beautiful and you just expressed it to Jody and me.
I can't repeat it. Which story you're talking about?
You already said it here a little bit, but just go into a little bit more detail. What do you think was going on in that man when he looked into your eyes and you were suggesting that he was seeing himself and he was seeing God?
He is looking for a realized person. And of course, we agree that the indices of a realized person is pure ananda. It's pure joy. The soul is such chit ananda. I used to ask my parishioners, say, how many of you want to go to heaven? Oh, everyone want to go to heaven, yeah? And how many want to go to hell? Nobody want to go to hell. So what is heaven? Heaven in my language is Angule Bebe, means uninterrupted joy.
Uninterrupted joy.
And I tell them, look, if you are happy, passionately happy, you are in heaven. And if you are sad, terribly sad, you are in hell right now. So how many want to go to heaven? Be happy. You are in heaven. How many want to go to hell? Be sad. You are in hell. Who is the devil? The one who makes you sad? Anything that makes you sad is the devil. Is a Maya.
So those were tears of happiness the two of you had when he came to realize his true self. Do you ever have tears of sadness? Silly question. What makes you sad?
Nothing.
What makes you hurt?
How can you be hurt? Who is hurting you? Dead.
What about when people cause you
Who
pain?
are people?
Who are people?
Oh, dead. When you are one with everything, there is no hurt. In the place I'm working, there was a heavy propaganda against us. Yeah, it's nice. That it's really heavy propaganda, heavy diabolic, demonic propaganda that I'm worshipping a devil, starting a new religion and stuff like that. I don't want this to be recorded, but I'm just telling you to
Well, it's
enjoy
being
it, yeah?
recorded.
Off.
You can use a euphemism. Use a figure of speech.
In any case, but it's the greatest fun for me because it makes me love more intensely. Because when you love those who love you, it's not intense. But when you love those who hate you, in quote, hate, it's so intense. Because you have to do more. It's easy. Jesus said, what have you done when you love those who love you, when you give to those who only will give you? Love your enemies. Do good to those who do bad to you. When someone slaps you on one cheek, turn the other one. Why? Because there's no one slapping you. When someone asks for your shirt, give him your singlets and so on and so forth. Give him everything. Give him your clothes. Why? Because the Atma is naked. What can clothe it? You can only understand these divine words of Jesus from the advaitic perspective. It's a philosophy of oneness.
Why has it taken 2,000 years to get that message across?
What is 2,000 years? It's nothing. You are eternal. That's why God is not in a hurry. Eternal, you couldn't imagine eternity. Time is like a dot. Mm-hmm. Okay, look at this body that you call dead and you associate with.
Big dot.
It's like a... it's not up to... Compare that with the earth. And see how infinitesimally small...
It's a small dot.
This dot is not even up to a dot. You stop. You know, if a dot is full stop, isn't it so?
Yeah.
You are not up to a full stop. When you put yourself in perspective with the earth. Now, go further. Put this earth in perspective in the galaxy in which it is situated. The millions of stars, millions of solar systems in its Milky Galaxy. And you discover that this earth is not up to a dot. Now put yourself in perspective again. This body. Mm-hmm. Now discover that this universe, this galaxy, which the earth is situated, there are billions and billions of galaxies in the physical gross universe. Put this body in perspective.
It almost doesn't exist.
And then, this whole gross physical universe is like a dot in the astral mental universe, the world of thought, the world of the mind. And the world of the mind is like a dot in the causal universe. And all these universes in the universes are within you, the heart.
So, if we're so insignificant...
Not you! The body is so insignificant. What you worry about? Time, 2,000 years is nothing. It's like a wink of God, like that. You worry about so many things that are absolutely insignificant. When you realize yourself, the Atma, the kingdom of God is within you. When you understand the full significance of that statement, everything, all the universes, everything, creation, created and uncreated, are within you. See, I'm saying you, I'm putting my, which means you. I didn't say within you, I said within you, which means my heart is you. I'm saying you, but I'm pointing to my heart spontaneously, because you are me. And when you find that heart, you find the heart of God, which is the heart of everything. And all you see is your self-expression.
Back in 1952, 53, when I was a little Catholic boy in catechism class, the catechism would ask these very simple questions with very profound meanings, such as, who am I and why am I here? Why are we here?
To play. And it's so important. You just come to amuse yourself.
But it always isn't fun.
Huh?
But it isn't always fun.
Don't know it now. You've come to play with yourself. That's why it's a play. That's why in a play it's fun, it's joy, it's celebration, it's dance, it's merriment, it's joy, it's ananda.
But I'm trying to figure out how I would think of it as play if somebody spread stories about me.
Who is somebody?
The person who's envious, jealous,
Ed,
angry for whatever reason.
What do you see? You are looking at me now. What are you seeing?
I do not see an angry man.
You are seeing but a man. The only difference that the man is not angry, yeah? Don't see with this. See with this. See with the heart. And once you see with the heart, you become compassionate. You become healing. You give life. You forgive. You are. See with the heart. Live here. Try to live here. Try to think from here. Try to feel from here. And it means silence. It will just bring you. And then the answer will come from within. Without much thinking, without any thinking.
Is that the silence of the mind? That's where we are at.
Only the heart can silence the mind.
Only heart can silence the mind.
Very easily. Yeah. For example, when you are really in bliss, means you are in love. Yeah, you forget time.
Exactly.
You forget hurt. You forget you're not even eating. Swami says, bliss is my food. It means when you are happy, when you are really happy, you're not hungry. And life is so sweet. It makes you go beyond the physical body. It makes you fly, it makes you do anything. But when you have to live from here and think about the logistics and the consequences and the outcome and what will happen and what will not happen, and
That's it.
by the time you ask, oh my God, what do people say? It's the easiest way. I found it the easiest way. I've gone through many other ways. I used to sit in meditation for 9 hours. Waste of time.
Wait a minute. You don't seriously mean that, do you?
I do. I sat for that hour to know that it's not needed. So it was not a waste of time. But it only helped me that it's not needed. That's an easy way. And you are children of God. God does not want to make spirituality a hard process. You know, you have to sit in the Himalayas for 24 years, yeah? Like that. Before you scare everyone. So please go with your realization. But you are realized already. You are God already. You are that which you are looking for. And once you live in that awareness, that's all that is required. Then initially it's hard for you to enter into that awareness. But gradually it will become difficult for you to get out of that awareness. Right. So I asked one of the students before giving darshan, who are you? And mind, yeah? Swami, I'm God. So I said, Acha. Now devotees are waiting. Go give darshan. Swami meant what he said. Go give darshan. But the child does not believe that truly he is God. We don't believe it. We don't believe ourselves. Because if you believe it, Jesus said, if you have faith like a tiny, tiny, tiny seed, you will tell this mountain, move, and it will move. Move into the ocean, and it will move into the ocean. And Jesus said, you are God. He didn't say you are going to become God. He said, what I do, you do it. You are going to do it. You will do it even more than I have done it. Because we are one. But everyone tells you are no good. You are a sinner. You are this, you are that. And you have grown up to believe that. You have grown up to believe what you are not. Now, spirituality is just to shift the attention from what you are not to what you are. Forget about what you are not. It's not important. That's what I'm saying. Focus on what you are. That's the reality. That's the truth. That's the truth. You are God. You know what that means? We're not different. And once you live in that way, that's the greatest humility, because you are in the smallest of the small and you are in the biggest of the big. You are not inferior, you are not superior, because you are everything. That's how the mind can die. But if you think you are going to kill the mind, you are using the mind to kill the mind. Could you imagine the contradiction? The police is looking for itself. A thief has put on the police uniform looking for the thief. Yeah? Tell me how he's going to find it.
Does this mean Father Charles doesn't meditate at all?
If you meditate to enjoy yourself. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Don't meditate to get realized. Otherwise, you are putting yourself out of yourself, and it's difficult. I meditate, but I'm enjoying myself. It's just a way of. It's the same thing as I'm eating. I mean, if you're not enjoying the food, please don't eat it. So meditate to enjoy yourself. Whatever you do, do it for joy of the self. That's spirituality.
And that is like living in God.
That's living in God. Exactly. That's living in you.
Living in self.
Living in yourself. And that's joy.
You learn everything, and then you finally have to unlearn everything. You know, get rid of everything. And
the Master Eckhart said, you have to get rid of God to get to God.
Yes.
Explain that.
You have to get rid of God in order to get to God. And that is the truth. Because it's your ideas of God.
The manipulation.
They tell you God is that, God is that. All are false. Once Thomas Aquinas realized God, he wrote a lot. The Summa, he wrote a lot. You have to spend 4 years reading Thomas Aquinas in the seminary. Once he had an encounter with God, he ran like a madman, God, wanting to burn all he has written. They had to hold him. Say it's nonsense. And then there's a little book that's called The Silence of Aquinas. That's the essence. Once you experience silence, you discover that all this has just a little wave from the womb of silence, and it dies in the womb of silence. Silence is everything. Silence is the heart. Is energy. Silence is not nothingness. Silence is beyond nothingness and somethingness. You are silence.